Hi, I'm Dixie Mitchell and I am the owner of the real estate agencies IPP Spain and Mitchell's Prestige Properties. Today I'd like to talk about the buying costs. So in Spain, the buying costs are slightly different, and that depends whether you are buying a second-hand property, which we call a resale property, or if you're buying a property off-plan. The taxes for a resale property are 7%. This is the transfer tax. This is a flat rate at the moment. If you're buying a property off-plan, you have to pay 10% VAT, which in Spain is IVA, but you also have to pay stamp duty, which at the moment is 1.2%. The rest of the costs are the same whether you're buying a resale property or an off-plan, and that is the notary fees and the land registry fees. These are 0.25% of the value of the property, but if it's a property that's over $1 million, it won't be that. It would be a much less amount. Another cost when you're buying a property that you need to consider is the legal fees. And legal fees vary. They are between 1% or 1.5% depending on the value of the property. It is very advisable to have a lawyer look and help you and assist for the purchase of your property, doing the due diligence, and this is something that we are able to assist. Having been in business for over 20 years, we have built a network of contacts that will help the whole transaction go smoothly. Regarding the lawyers, we are able to connect you with all the different contacts that we have, and then we've built a network of professionals over the years, also that suit your language. Another relevant cost that it is advisable is a property survey. This is not something that is mandatory in Spain, but it is something that we advise our clients to do, especially if they're buying a property that is a substantial amount. It is advisable to hire an independent body to come and do a survey on your property. This could range between 500 up to perhaps 2,500. Again, it depends on the value on the property and the type of survey that you choose to have on the property. Regarding the survey, this is not something that is needed when you buy a brand new property or an off-plan property, as we call it, because you will receive this by the developer with a builder's guarantee that covers it for a period of 10 years. Another expense that you may have is if you're going to buy the property with a mortgage. The only cost that the client will have is to get a valuation. This is paid by you and handed over to the bank. It is done by a certified valuating company that has been registered with the Bank of Spain. The rest of the process of the mortgage is actually paid by the bank. That is the deed that you sign, because in Spain, mortgages have their own deeds. The process is a little bit different than in other countries. You actually signed a deed of transparency. This is a very thorough part of the process because you are actually confirming that all the conditions that you were giving for the mortgage, you understand. So you go independently and sign this a deed of transparency, and that is not of cost to you because the bank covers that. Well, I'd like to continue with the other type of charges that are available when you buy the property. I'd like to basically let you know everything. When you're ready to complete the property, obviously you will have a bank account in Spain, or maybe you put your funds with your lawyer's client's account, but the payment is done either by a banker's draft or by a OMF. OMF is a transfer that it's an immediate transfer. Both of these ways have costs. So you need to consider the cost of either a banker's draft or the immediate transfer that is done on the day of completion. Today I'd also like to just briefly talk about what is the buying process in Spain, and everyone talks about it, but I'd just like to make it simple. I think the first part is obviously when you find the property is to really get the property off the market. And the first step is basically you pay the reservation fee, and this shows serious intent so that the buyer knows that you are committed. So this is done in the means of a 6,000 perhaps reservation deposit, but that depends on the value of the property you're buying. That's the first step. Second step is the process then of the due diligence, that it's done to ensure that everything's in order. There is a period of time between the reservation and the next step. The next step then is the private purchase contract, and as we call it, PPC. For me, this is the most important part of the process, because it is at this moment where you are going to have all your terms and conditions agreed. This is where you will discuss your completion date. This is where you will talk about whether the property is being handed over furnished. This covers everything that happens when you get over the keys. So this is when you sign a document and you commit to fulfill the purchase. Very important in Spain. If you do not fulfill, you will lose the money. But if the vendor doesn't fulfill, he will return double. Apart from that is the fact that you are now committed to those conditions. And the last step is the easiest, because the last step is the notary, and basically we go and sign the deed, but everything that's in the deed has been agreed in the private contract. And that's when you receive your keys, and then you start the next stage of enjoying your new home in Spain, and hopefully continuing with us through the process, which we are able to do.